Hey guys, welcome back to Olson's Garage, and I want to start out by saying thank you so much. On my last video, or one of my last videos I posted, the video about which multi-process welder is best for you. As of right now, that has 423 views. That's crazy to me. I didn't expect that to be seen by that many people, and I really appreciate every single person that watches these videos. That is awesome. So if you please can like, subscribe, and check me out on Instagram, I would really appreciate it, and then it'll help me grow and I'll be able to make more videos. So thank you very much. Hey guys, so today in Olson's Garage we're going to be doing some snowblower maintenance. I've kind of been neglecting it, and you'll start to see some things that aren't super great. So we have our cutting edge that's wearing in to the bottom here, down here. And these side things are worn down to basically nothing at this point. So right now we're starting to eat the bottom and we're starting to eat the sides. New cutting edge here. And then I made some little pieces for the sides here that we're going to weld on the bottom to give those a little bit extra life. And I figured we'd check this gear case, go through, make sure everything's working properly, lube what we need to lube. Luckily, while I'm doing the cutting edge, I'm going to do an oil change too. Hopefully this comes out. Doesn't look like this one's ever coming out. If you know about how aluminum and steel corrode, you'll know that that's stuck in there forever. But it looks like this is going to be able to come off, so we'll go over that. Last year, I had to put a new carburetor on this thing. I found this carburetor on Amazon for like 35 bucks. The original carburetor that was on here was so full of tar. I ended up having to take a pick and poke all the holes to the main jet and the pilot jet so I could get this thing started. To get started, I needed like a spray of brake clean, and I had a piece of duct tape covering up half of the intake side to use that as a choke, and it was able to run all year last year, but I figured towards the end of the season I might as well make the choke actually work and have it rev the way it's supposed to, because last year it was running rich all year long, so it was just guzzling gas like crazy. So I'm sure the oil probably has some gas in it, and obviously we have a bunch of other things to do, so stay tuned and we'll start ripping and tearing and drilling and draining. So first things first, we're going to go back here and we're going to start draining this. That would have been nice, hey? That's okay. Take that out. 3/4, nope. 11/16. That'll probably work, but that's definitely not the right size. I wonder if it's metric. I didn't think John Deere's would be metric though. Maybe it's a 5/8 and I'm just using it wrong. Well, that's okay, because this one's working so far. I should have grabbed the socket, it would have been way easier. What's it going to do, dump right on my linkage? It's looking that way. Nope, luckily not. That's some black oil. Alright, we'll let that drain for a little bit and we'll come back and fill it back up. Save your ears, wear earplugs, please. Oh, came out. I really only broke one bolt. I should probably just get new bolts anyway, hey? I can't drill square holes though. 14 or 15. Take off these. Oh, if I use the right side. Alright, 15. Everything's a hammer. Maybe I should actually grab a hammer. Here we go. There is nothing left to these, unfortunately. I think there's enough we'll be able to weld some stuff on, but that's only going to be a temporary fix. That one's worn down so bad the nut's actually worn. Okay, so what I ended up doing is I took the old cutting edge and I laid it over our new cutting edge, clamped it down, and drilled our holes. So I have a caliper here. This is where measuring helps out. Who would ever believe it? But we go bottom of the hole here to here. We have like 1.45, 1.45 roughly. 1.45. This one's a little bit loose, but this is where an alligator was torching our cutting edge with its mouth, and not someone that knows how to torch. It was me. I'll admit, it was me. I'm not very good at torching. We're getting there. We're learning, but I'm not very good at it yet. But roughly 1.45. So from the bottom of our cutting edge to our mounting holes, it's roughly the same across here, and then as this eats concrete, it's going to smooth itself out and become flat. Now, this top part, an alligator or a shark must have ate this part off. No, it was my bad torching again. So I'm gonna take this to work and use our plasma cutter, and we're gonna try and cut this off nice and straight so it doesn't look like poo. And I think we're gonna need to get. Oh, we can't use carriage bolts because we didn't drill round, or we didn't drill square holes. So we're gonna have to throw some bolts in here. Hopefully they clear our auger. But yeah. So we'll torch this straight, make it look good, slap it up under there. We're gonna have to use bolts. We're not gonna be able to use carriage bolts anymore, so we'll have to use regular hex bolts. So for these things, I think what I'm gonna do is I have some of this 1-inch. So I think what I'll be able to do is weld it on the bottom and on the top, give us two options. Weld it on the top and bottom, and it's going to end up being just wide enough. I'll cut it off and I'll weld it. So when we weld it on, that'll kind of help with our bump up if we hit anything. And we'll grind it smooth so that we're not just cramming into sidewalks and other pieces of concrete that don't agree with the snowblower. So I'm going to start cutting all this stuff up, and we'll see how far we get tonight, because we're going to end up needing some hardware and some other stuff, so we might have to run and go get some of that. But for now, I'm going to work on making bottoms for these. I'll cut this off straight tomorrow, and I think to end off the night, we'll throw some oil back in the snowblower and top it off. Alright, so we got our drain plug back in. So on this snowblower specifically, we have a top oil fill and dipstick, and there's also this one on the side. So generally, the rule of thumb for these, wasn't sure if I was going to get that out or not. Oops. Let me get a flashlight. So generally, the rule of thumb for these, hopefully you guys are going to be able to see it, it's basically going to be to the bottom of the threads in here is where you want your oil level. And that should be good if you go to the bottom of the threads. But in this video, we're going to see if the dipstick matches up with that theory. So once I get back, once this thing's full, I'll show you where I am on the dipstick, and then I'll show you where the oil level is in relationship to those threads too. Give me 1 sec and I'll be right back. So it's going to be kind of tricky to see. Hopefully you can see, hopefully I can get the light right. But we'll see we're ever so slightly over full. So we'll put this back in here. Then if we go over to this side, we'll see. Oh, I had it tight again. So if we come over to this side, we'll see that we are pretty full. So I guess it's going to come up, if you look at the top, to the back of the threads. But in the front here, it's going to come almost like it's coming out. So between the dipstick and that, we know that our oil level is good. So once I get a new cutting edge on here and some new side pieces, we're going to fire this thing up. We're just going to run it around, test everything, make sure everything's working properly, make sure our electric starter works, make sure our hand starter works. I think last year I had a light bulb out. I'll try and get a light bulb for this thing. We'll go through, we'll check everything and make sure that we're good for our first snowfall. Luckily I already tested the truck. Snowplow works, it goes both ways. It's hooked up right. Eventually this spring I think the truck's going to need a transfer case. So luckily there's a local guy that rebuilds them. It's an NP261. So he'll be able to hook us up with a heavy duty NP261. But for this winter, 4-wheel drive works. It just doesn't, it makes like a humming noise after 60. And it's because the gears in the transfer case are kind of wobbly and it creates a vibration. So anyway, truck's ready to go. We tested that already. It's going to need a front end alignment and a transfer case this spring. Front end alignment probably before the transfer case. But we'll test out the snowblower. We'll get everything wrapped up. And I'll see you guys here again tomorrow. Okay, so we welded on our little pieces of quarter on the bottom. We ended up grinding the other side down just so that it was able to still have this ramped area. So if you hit a curb or whatever, or not curb, but like the sidewalk cracks, it'll kind of jump up on that. So that should still work. Same thing on this side. So the cutting edge is nice and flat on the bottom. The garage floor isn't perfectly flat, but I think that'll work good enough for snow. As you can see, I mean, it was wearing in. It was wearing into the snowblower quite a bit. I don't know how long these cutting edges are supposed to be, but I mean, it was even shaving down these bolts. That's crazy. This thing's seen better days, but it still works just fine, so why not keep it? I also found that this bolt, this bracket and this bolt hold this whole piece up. I was playing with it and it had probably a half inch of play. So I ended up loosening it up and I was like, oh, the nut actually moved. I was kind of surprised. And then I went to go tighten it back up and of course the bolt broke. So I had to replace the bolt. I replaced the nut. I left this nut because it's nice because it's got like knurled pieces on the inside of the nut, so that'll grip this nice, support everything. Yeah, so we got our new cutting edges. We repaired that. We got our new side pieces. We did the oil change. Now the only thing left is to see if the electric starter works and make sure the pull start works. Make sure everything else is kind of doing what it's supposed to. So I'll set you guys up and we'll give it a test drive. I guess we'll try it with the electric start first. The electric start is so loud. Well, it's really handy. When it's cold, you don't want to be pulling on the thing. If it's in there. Turn it on. Chokes on. No, help if we have the gas on. gas on. Oop. Alright, so we overfilled the bowl already. Hopefully that needle's not stuck, but let's give it a try. It's probably going to smoke a lot too. Everything looks good up here. Everything's rotating the way it should be. Cool. Starts. That works. I'm going to try pull starting it and we'll see how that goes. Cool. Everything seems to work. I'm going to try and figure out what kind of light bulb this is. We'll get this replaced. And make sure to shut the fuel off just so that we're not, just in case our float doesn't work, we're not filling that and relying on the float to stop the fuel flow. But yeah, fired up good. I ran it forward. I started to eat the garage floor a little bit. So that cutting edge is going to be nice for any ice and stuff that we try and cut up, or we'll just wear it flat right away. But we'll see. So that's it for this video. We did the cutting edge. We did our little side wear plates. We changed the oil. We made sure everything worked. We repaired some of the little things that we found. We're still going to need a light bulb. But it's a little bit late this season, obviously, because we haven't gotten a lot of snow in Wisconsin yet. But this is all good preventive maintenance that you can do to your own snowblower, and it kind of gives you, the knowledge that you need to be able to tackle your own cutting edge or your side plates or your oil change. None of this stuff's really that hard. It's all pretty simple, and that's hopefully what I'm getting through to you guys when I make these videos. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, and have a good one.